my second question was about right?
Right, yeah.
Process questions like what are the topics, rounds
Yeah.
were there? Yeah, how many rounds?
So from all of the tests that I appeared in my Btech placement process, I found the test of ARM to be wholesome and thorough in terms of it covered all of the aspects of electronics and communication at a basic level. So the test portion, it covered two sections. One was logical reasoning and aptitude, and one was the technical EC content. So in logical reasoning and aptitude, they had 30 marks, and the technical content was of 70 marks. So total, it was a 100-mark test. And the first 30-mark section was basic maths and some puzzles. So, we had these kind of questions of height and distance, then two parallel boats, speed, distance, time. So all of the basic questions were included along with some logical reasoning puzzles as well. And some of the English vocabulary questions as well.
Basically, gate वाला जो portion होता है वही हुआ.
The basic ones. But they had in two portions. Like one was type in the answer, a TITA that they call, and another one is the MCQ pattern. And in technical side, I got the flavor of all of the basic content. So that's why I say, even I've communicated to many juniors कि ARM की जो test थी, that I liked the most. I mean, it had a C language, it had Python, it had Verilog, some questions on network theory, some basic Ohm's law, voltage law questions, and Kirchhoff's law questions, and some EDC basics, transistors, BJT, diode, amplifiers. Then they had DLD, K-map, then 0 and 1 logic, then number system conversion, hexadecimal, binary, octal. So they had variety of questions, microprocessor and microcontroller. So, I mean, along with these, I think the prime focus which they gave on was three subjects: microprocessor, microcontroller, and computer architecture. Very, very emphasized, because the company is into processor design and verification. So MPMC, microprocessor, microcontroller, that involved 8086 and 8051. And computer architecture, right from the pipelining stages to cache memory, cache hit, cache miss, then line numbers, conversions. So it was a flavor. I mean, you get to have basic technical questions, theoretical, as well as you have some numerical problems also, which you get to solve. And it was a time-proctored test, time-bound test. I think it was around 2.5 hours test. So, but it was a very, very nice, wholesome test. But still, I think the companies have the liberty to change the test pattern and, number of questions and all every time. So it's not every time, it's not always necessary that they follow the same pattern or same number of questions. They can evolve it based on different sets, but more or less, they try to cover everything and give you a flavor of all of the basics that you have gained and you have learned for the test.
So estimated how much cutoff, like it was 50%, 60%, and how many students got cleared for the interview basically?
Cutoff also is dependent on the company. They do not reveal it. They actually reveal it in the cell, but I think it would be difficult to estimate though, but I think maybe they would keep something around, as you said, that say out of 30 questions, because I doubt that if they would keep it around, the full 100 marks, they would do it technically in terms of division category of 30 and 70. So out of 30, say, you should be having 15 or 20 MCQs cleared in the logical reasoning, and maybe out of 70, maybe 35 cleared or something, as you said. But it's very difficult to predict the cutoff, because the triple I, the cell, that's the placement cell we call, they get the information, or sometimes maybe they also might not get, because companies might keep it to themselves. But even in terms of shortlisting, it's like once you get shortlisted for test, you go to the next round of interview, and that's also a recurring process of different interviews that you end up. So coming to interviews, then when I cleared the test, I had 2 rounds of interviews. Both were of 1 hour each, And the first round had different questions related to your resume, your different projects, and for me, ISRO internship and all. And one of the plus point that I had was a research paper on computer architecture that was actually in progress to publish. So that was getting published into Springer. So that particular paper, it was based on a performance analysis of cache memory in CPU. So that particular, it's like a kind of a headline that attract the interviewers, and then they ask questions on that particular project. So I think interview is such an event which is dependent on the applicant to drive the interview. So how well you answer, or in which direction you answer. So it's like you are only the driver of the interview there. You can drive it to whichever direction. So then there were basic resume questions, there were basic C language questions. Then they asked about cache memory, cache hierarchy, and verification in general, testing and verification. So in Nirma, back in the Btech course, we had different elective systems. So, we have basic subject which are compulsory, as well as some of the electives. So there was an elective on testing and verification. So the materials from that elective, I mean, those also help. So that way, if you're prepared well to the base concepts and all, it is very kind of smooth for you to give the interview and at least answer. And even what I've experienced is they do not expect 100% from you, because you are new, you are a fresher, you are coming right out of Btech. So no one knows everything. What they would actually check is the attitude and approach. I mean, it is the generic thing, but that doesn't mean that technically, you should. I mean, you do not give the right answers. Of course, they expect right answers from you, but along with that, your attitude and your approach to answer the questions, that also matters. And this thing I got to experience in the second round. Say when I was a bit of stuck in one of the question, the interviewer was kind enough to give me the direction. They drive you to the direction of thinking. Is that the interviewer is also very experienced, that they will not tell you the answer directly. What they'll do is they'll drive your mind into the direction of thinking. So it will be again a streamlined process, and you will again rethink of what you are trying to solve. So that helped me out in the second round, which again, second round was more related to numericals and applicative problems. One of the problem was on C language, and another was on cache memory and cache line. So those were, I mean, they allot 15-20 minutes, and you have to solve it completely on a pen and paper mode. So that way they were 2 rounds. Again, the rounds do differ from people to people. There can be 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds. It depends on team. And sometimes the companies are also kind enough to take multiple rounds for you, so that they want to have a proper fit for you. Say sometimes it happens that there are 2 to 3 teams that might have the requirement. So if you are not getting fit into one team, they would try that you get fit into another team which is a requirement. So they grind you to a level. Again, on that note, I had interviewed for Infineon Technologies, and I got interviews for 4 to 5 rounds. So, and some of my friends also went to the 8th round and got selected into 9th round. So, it's a kind of recursive iterative process. And at every round, again, every round is a kind of knockout round for you. Say if they don't feel that no, not further, they would tell. But in a way, interview is a kind of generic 3 to 4 round process. Depending on the interviewer as well as the person, they would vary for the rounds. And then last comes up the HR round, what they say, the background verification and different things about the offer, and what are the basics of the role that are given to you. So that is covered into the HR round.
So total, how many students were there in EC in your batch, in your like complete A to B section? What are the sections are there? And
Yeah.
how many people got selected in a core electronics company? It is communication plus electronics. And how many in the software and other fields? So you can just give the idea.
Yeah, so there were 135 to 140 students of the batch, which I mean, in the past few years, they have increased the seats, number of seats, which is a good sign for the progress of the department and progress of university as a whole. So from that, there were many people who went for higher studies, many people who chose, as you said, core computer or software field. Some people also, switched fields, moving from EC to computer. But I mean, again, as I said, the exact number, it's difficult to say, because even for us, we do not have it. But as far as from what I knew, there were many students who got placed into the core companies as per their interest, who had applied. Exactly. Some people who had their inclination that they have to go for masters. Someone had selected in the software side, but the placement rate of Nirma is around 100% and at par. I mean, it's not defining any number, but it's at par and a complete full placement, and even they reach out to students who are not getting placed. So even I got placed after 11 months. Instead of that being a surprise to me, it was a surprise from my faculties and mentors. I mean, they thought that how come you got placed after 11 months? So, I mean, in a way, why? Because as I communicated, that I had that particular selective criteria of application to the companies. But I mean, on an average, everyone got placed at very nice companies, and to the choice of their own, as well as the people who went for masters. Some people went abroad, some people did masters here, but everyone had a very good time in the whole placement season.
Okay. So recently have switched to the cadence also, like in the recession times especially. So how you applied for the cadence and what was the interview process? What are the topics? All these things you can discuss.
Yeah. So, coming into industry, we find different concepts, different areas of interest and areas of work. So say we have studied a course called VLSI design in the Btech tenure, and we have come across different tools and different concepts of that subject. But whenever you step into industry, or whenever you come into contact with different industry leaders and experts, you get to know how varied this field is, or how expanded this field is. Right. So as and when I started spending my time at ARM, I was fortunate to work into different projects, and I got to explore different areas of VLSI and the core domain of design verification as a whole. So from that, I got a chance to explore more. So working in different autonomous projects, and there is a field called functional safety, which interested me more. That was for autonomous things and aerospace sector and all. So from that point, I decided to explore more in the industry, because what we have studied in the Btech course in academics, the areas in the industry are furthermore wide and varied. So say in college time, you come across different fields which are a part of VLSI, but when you enter into industry, you get across them and you find that no, there is much more. So there are subsections, there are subfields in which you have different roles offered by companies. So then I applied to Cadence. The field was in that SoC DV, that was system on chip design verification, something different from what I was doing at ARM. I was working for CPU design verification. And even given that I was early in my career, I thought it would be a good thing to explore and work out in different areas in the industry. So I applied at Cadence, and they had a very nice interview process of, again, I said it was a 3 to 4 round process, wherein they check different concepts of your attitude and approach to the field of design verification. And now it was a altogether different experience than what I had given interview in my Btech time of the placement. There they treat you as fresher. Here also we are freshers. I mean, two years industry experience is treated as a fresh person only. But just that you come from a company background, so they would take your interview in such a way that they would ask questions on your previous work, on what all basics that you have covered in the domain that you are working. And I mean, it's a kind of very transparent process in which they'll check your attitude and approach. So there were again different concepts of EDC, DLD, microprocessor controllers, C and Python basic languages. Then Verilog was one of them. Cadence is an EDA company known for its tools. So Verilog was also one of the prominent things. And functional safety. So on that, as I had it on my profile, and along with the research aspect. So that was also on the topic on which I got to, drive the interview, along with this numerical based question. So that is also a very key point in any interview, that they'll give you questions to solve. So the motive of testing the problem solving ability, that gets catered in
Numerical
each.
means puzzle, right? Numerical means
Puzzles.
puzzle.
Yeah, so it is taken in two ways. One is non-technical puzzle. I mean, simple, these, different balls and different, logical reasoning puzzle. Second would be the technical questions. Say they gave you a flip flop, they give you a JK flip flop, a D flip flop, some 5 flip flops in line in the output, mux based questions. So those are a question which you can attempt on pen and paper. You can explain your approach. Again, as I said, it is fine if you don't get to the solution 100%. You try very hard. I mean, it's recommended that you try. Anyways, I mean, telling no directly is not always a very good solution, rather than replacing it with a try. So how many hard times harder you try, at least you will get a step further in the process or in the approach. So you have to try and you have to explain the way of thinking. So they'll test your attitude and approach of learning and how you are attempting to that question, and then you reach to the final solution of that problem. So such different problems they'll give for testing the problem solving thing. And again, the last round would be the HR round for the discussion. So they have different round. And for me, it was a very nice experience interviewing with Cadence and now working at the company.
Yeah. So you have got the opportunity in the recession. So how difficult it was to get the call from the cadence in the recession times, especially?
So I would say, I mean, semiconductor ecosystem is such a big, it has a very big lookout on a wider perspective. Where we have different companies around. If I take example of Bangalore, the place where I am currently sitting, in an area of 10 kilometers, there are 15 companies. So,
Yeah.
you have different startups, you have different MNCs in and around you. So sitting in a place like Bangalore, it was always a kind of plus point that you have different companies around you if you want to explore, along with different domains. So yes, recession time, layoffs, it is, and I think it would always be a part and parcel of this whole ecosystem in one way or other, in a higher intensity or a lower intensity, because it again depends on the competitive nature of this field. Say you have ARM, you have Nvidia, you have Qualcomm, Samsung, all into the same industry, working on processors. Cadence, Synopsys working on EDA tools and IP. So each company is unique in its own way. Each company has its own USPs and own kind of benefited products. So in a competitive ecosystem of semiconductor, it's always, some are on top, some are on bottom. Again, after some time, this would change. These people will go. So it's a kind of a continuous role that goes on. So I mean, it was for me, as I had applied to multiple companies and I was trying to explore. So I had this frame of mind that okay, it will, it might take some time for me to get a call from companies and to apply. But it's always very important to stay in that flow, to go with the flow and to stay in the flow. Because as soon as you stop applying, waiting for the previous applications, it would not, guarantee you a call sometime, because companies might take some time to review your profile and then give a call. So it's very important, stay connected and to stay in the flow, to keep applying and to keep approaching. For that, LinkedIn is absolutely a wonderful platform to for me also. I got into your touch and VLSI for all from LinkedIn. So platform wise, it's also very nice. So yes, of course, recession is there. There are layoffs and all around. But if you take a look at the broader picture, companies are hiring and companies are ever growing. So if you apply for two companies, say for an example, and you do not get a call, always there is some company who would give you a call. So it's a win-win situation every time. And again, the concept of patience and perseverance do come, that the more you stick to the flow, somewhere or the other, it might take time. See, I mean, again, patience. Okay, it might not take 11 months as I took for the previous case, but it would take a bit of less time. But you are in the same field, you are in the same environment, and the hub, Bangalore being a hub, any hub, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, Noida, it's a kind of hub wherein you get different opportunities around you. So opportunities are many. It's just the matter of getting clicked. Where one company you have applied for and you might not get an interview call for 15 days, but it is important for you to keep trying on the 16th day as well. You get a call on that day, so it's very important in that matter.
Yeah. So in the end, I will ask to know about VLSI for all. Have you checked our like a platform or application or like some of the free courses or like there are different initiatives like mock intros or we are doing like with you like interaction session or expert of placement of. So do you think it is beneficial for the student and what do you think about us like what how it is like have you seen our like app? So you can give that thought about it. Yeah.
Definitely. I have seen VLSI for all, even when I was doing some applications and doing some preparation stuff and all. And it is a very, very nice platform, very, very nice initiative, benefiting to people who are applying for VLSI specific companies, or not just VLSI, I would say placement as a whole, because it offers different materials, different videos, different courses and articles for students to prepare. I would also say maybe I found some content useful for working professionals as well. Say if a working professional wants to, I mean, say a fresher in the
Yeah.
industry wants to go back and refresh something, they would visit your YouTube videos, the articles, and get to know the crux of any topic, the basic concept clearance. And it's also very much beneficial for the current college students, be it Btech, Mtech, that they would be using it for preparation. So it's a very nice initiative, and the application and the interface also I like using it, and it's also a very wonderful initiative, and I hope this continues, and even such sessions as we are doing now. I saw different sessions on YouTube, to which
Exactly.
it would be a helping hand for people who are applying for interviews for the very first time. So, I mean, if they take a look at it, they would get some confidence and they would get some boost. So it's a wonderful work which you and VLSI for all are doing, and I wish all the best to this initiative, and it should grow and spread as much to people. And so yeah, it's a wonderful initiative.
Yeah. So thank you so much. So in the end, you want to give any tips for your juniors or people who are struggling in the recession or who are confused about their career? So any tips for them?
Yeah. So, being an alumni of Nirma University, I sometimes, I get to play this role of guiding to junior friends. And for me, I'm an introvert and I like to, interact with people. So, I mean, at times I interact with people for placements and all, and I give them this, I would not say advice, but just a thought, a pass on of thought, that as I mentioned, patience and perseverance, that is the most important while you apply for placements. It might take time sometimes, but it's better to go with the flow. Again, there are people who might have a decision that okay, they want to go in VLSI or they want to go in embedded, or say XYZ, any field for that matter. Some people might have decided from their second or third year, and they even have the thrust to do the preparation in that direction. They are very thorough and they do the preparation such in such manner. But for people like me, who have this instinct of liking everything and trying out everything that comes in our way, it's always important to go with the flow. Like whatever comes up, you take one day at a time and you approach it with full ethical thoughts, and with full hard work, and then you will get success at some point of time after applying, and after keeping patience and perseverance. So again, that same thing I experienced when I transitioned from ARM to Cadence, that it's very important to be in the process, to be in the flow. Semiconductor, if we talk about VLSI in the field of electronics and communication, it is very vast field. And the concept of make in India, which is now taking place, and it's growing day by day to a very higher pace. So that would gradually grow, and it would be beneficial to all of the industry experts, people and leaders, and all of the industry people who are working currently. So it is always important to stay connected. And again, another thing is networking, as we are talking on this platform. So it's a kind of new network for me. I would be able to tell people about the platform VLSI For All, and even this session people would listen to it and get some benefit. So it's always important to stay connected and network with people, be it your faculties, so that rapport development, right? You build it with your faculties, and you build it with people around industry, that would help you somewhere or the other at any place in future. So it's always important to be in a good network, and at the same time work on your skills, tools and technologies. And some point of the other, I also felt that the aspect of research and innovation, that also companies are considering it as a very good point. So if for college students, I would like to convey that whoever are currently in college pursuing their Btech or Mtech, for me, our faculties and mentors used to tell us that at least if you have one published paper, be it in any conference, be it in any journal, IEEE, Springer, it is a very good addition to your resume, to your profile, and people would consider it as a very good limelight point. So it's always, you get to learn something new, because research, again, it's a kind of longer process. So again, it will teach you more and more of patience and perseverance getting into research. So yeah, it's important, and whatever comes to your way, just go with the flow with patience, perseverance, good company, good network, and that would be a good thing to progress and learn, because industry experience initially is all about learning, because again you will start from ground zero. Whenever there will be your first day in any company, say at ARM or even at Cadence, I had to start from ground zero. So you have to learn, get acquainted to the environment, you have to learn different things, you have different people around you. So people would be there to help. So it's a kind of learning process. And in this process, it is also important to get the right mentors, right mentors who take you in the right direction, and they'll guide you in such a way that you yourself can learn at your own self pace and get acquainted to the industry. So yes, it's all about learning and clearing concepts. So yeah, just go with the flow and enjoy the college time for people and the industry experience. It's a very big industry, very big unit, so we have a lot of things to learn. So happy learning to everyone.
So thank you so much. Thank you, Viranj. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Sure. Thank you, Rajat. Enjoy. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.